Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here today. This is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among other things. And we're taking a look at Matic. Obviously, this is a very popular one for my community, so that's the reason why I cover it frequently. And we're just going to take a look at the technical charts. There's no fundamentals here. Just know I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. You should always do your own research. I just have years of trading experience, and my goal is to help you become a better trader one day at a time. And I want to teach you to trade for a lifetime. All right. Now I have signal groups that I'm going to be introducing soon for my premium Patreon account, link in the description below. That'll be available before month end. Also note that I have a Telegram community that is fantastic. So if you'd like to learn more about crypto, feel free to join that as well and kind of learn as much as you can. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and check it out. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take another look at Matic. And before we do, if you're new to the channel, we always look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first just to get a baseline on the market, see what's going on there, so we can make an informed decision, so we know everything we possibly can going into our investment. All right, so we'll take a look at Bitcoin first. So this is our dear old friend Bitcoin. And here's what's going on. Let's go ahead and turn on the moving averages. I use the 50-day moving average and the 200-day. These are the simple moving averages. The purple line is the 200, the 50 is the yellow line here. And it's basically just telling us, the average of the last 50 to 200 days, what the average price has been. And it's kind of delayed by that time frame. So this 200 is notoriously one of the strongest indicators, and what's great is the price action is over the 200-day simple moving average. So this is good news here for us. We can see the price is over. It was tested again recently and held above. Furthermore, we also have the 50 coming up to hopefully help us out and drive the price action up. So if all goes well here for us on Bitcoin, 50-day moving average keeps continuing upwards, the 200 kind of comes out this way, and we see the price action, kind of continue upwards past and through the 50 to hopefully carry us through the $42,000 major resistance level that we see there so far. So this is 42,000. We also have a kind of a temporary resistance as well. It's been tested about 3 or 4 times recently at about 41,000. So 41 is the first milestone, 42 is the second, then open skies from there on out because we have nothing else essentially holding us down, minus a couple of maybe minor resistance levels, but I would say 50,000 would be the next major resistance at that point. Okay, that's kind of what we're looking at there. Super strong support at 30,000. And 42,000 is the resistance. So moving on to Ethereum here, not much can be said here. Ethereum's kind of boring right now. Typically it does very well when Bitcoin does poorly, and unfortunately, we don't really see much of that. I think a lot of folks are scared to invest in Ethereum, and I think they're investing in the Cardanos and some others that are a little more, I guess, steady, you could say. The Matics, for example. There's a lot of other coins that are taking more market capitalization than Ethereum is, but simply put, we're under the 50 and the 200-day moving average, as well as a major resistance at 2,900. So if Bitcoin can keep going sideways, I would normally like to think that Ethereum would recover, but I think we're going to need to see Bitcoin surpass 42,000 for Ethereum to take off. That's my guess, just based on its price action, how weak it's been recently. That being said, let's go ahead and move on to Matic. Let's take a look at the one-day chart for Matic. All right, so Matic is doing fairly well. All right, so just taking a look at the big picture here, compared to the rest of the market, most of the other coins are down here, where Matic is, right here, pretty much where it should be. I mean, it technically should be higher, don't get me wrong, because if we took into consideration all these, the major sell-offs here from before, Matic would be doing better. But let's just take a look at some of the most important, more pivotal timeframes for Bitcoin. First of all, we had April 17th. That was this guy back here. Let's see if we can get this here a little better. So April 17th, this was the first major Bitcoin sell-off, right? So Matic did lose off somewhere in the range of 40%, right? So it wasn't impervious. It did lose quite a lot in those couple of days. And then it recovered quite well because the 22nd and the 25th were also terrible days for Bitcoin. And you can see it wasn't all that impacted, but it went on a tear basically on the 26th, the day after Bitcoin decided to finally go sideways for a little while. And this is what it did. It pretty much went straight upwards. We had a pretty strong increase followed by a period of consolidation, increase, and then all this mess here. But here's a great thing. Our Elon candle was on the 8th of May. No, correction, the 12th of May. So we look here. This is the Elon candle. This is what it did to us. Okay, so Matic did very well. It basically closed just a little smaller than it had opened in that same day, where everything else was like almost destroyed. And then we look on the 18th, right here. This is the China candle day. Obviously, it had to retrace because it went up way too fast, way too quick. But for lack of better terms, minus that China candle, look at where the price action should be for Matic, right? So it should literally be in the 170 to 220 range comfortably, because this major increase right here should have retraced halfway down to about 205, and we should have seen some sideways action from there, excuse me, from Matic moving forward, right? So that's kind of what we're looking at there. So to me, I still feel like $1.50 is a very good buy for Matic. I think that is very affordable and that is comfortable. And what's great is we got the 50-day moving average working as a support level, so it'll hopefully continue to drive the price upward. And we'll see, maybe some consistency here from Matic to get back up to about $2. So that's kind of just what I see on the one-day chart. RSI is fair to Midland, so really not much going on there in that sense, but I like looking at the one-day chart to kind of get perspective on the overall history, comparing it with Bitcoin so we know what's going on. Now this is where it gets interesting, because the 50-day moving average, kind of converged downwards and essentially caused a, this is what we refer to as a death cross. When the price comes down, the 50 comes down to intersect with the 200. It obviously kept pushing the price down further. We saw that. But now that the price action is higher, we saw it kind of get rejected off the 200-day moving average here and come down and bounce back off the 50. So we're kind of in this little channel here. But good news is with the 50 kind of coming back up again to recover, we should see some maybe sideways action and a slight increase from Matic. So I venture guess, again, if Bitcoin can keep going sideways and just say it stays in between 38 and 42,000, then we'll probably see Matic eventually edge upwards closer to $1.70. But if Bitcoin can surpass, just say 42,000 and stay above and hold for a couple of days, then we're going to see Matic take off, likely to shoot back up to the $2 range. The RSI, looking pretty good. Honestly, right in the middle. I like that a lot. Even though we had this little sell-off because Bitcoin decided it wanted to come back down, I still think it is essentially a really good value right now. So my opinion would be to invest in Matic. That's just me personally. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Do what you'd like, but I like where Matic is heading right now. I like it. Obviously, $1.15 would have been a good investment too, right? Hindsight's 2020. Let's quickly look at the 1 hour chart to go ahead and pay attention to the Ichimoku cloud and obviously kind of know what's going on there. Because keep in mind, this is telling us right now that it's not a good time to buy. Okay, so just to kind of keep it simple, when the price action is over, as soon as it breaks above the cloud, it's considered a buy signal. When the price action breaks below, it's considered a sell signal because we could likely see it come back down, so on and so forth. And then the only thing else to note is that when it's in the cloud, it's considered a no buy zone. You don't want to buy. There's a lot more to the Ichimoku cloud that I'm not mentioning here. There's like 3 other indicators that are trailing, and they work kind of like the MACD lines on the price action. It's actually very helpful, so definitely do your own research on that one because it's a good indicator, but you could literally spend 30 to 60 minutes trying to understand how it works. Or just, that's how long it take me to explain everything. I just like to kind of cover the cloud really quick because it gives us a quick understanding what's going on. It's the most effective on the 1 hour chart, but right now, presently, even though Matic overall does look like a good value, this is telling us not to buy. It's not a good time to buy. We want to wait for the price action to break above the cloud on the 1 hour chart. All right, so let's take a look at the 15 now. And what we do is we enable our EMA and VWAP lines, and we essentially want to make sure that we know what we're looking at here. So if you're not familiar with the channel, I use the volume weighted average price. That is this blue line here. And this blue line tells us the volume in the last 24 hours expressed as a price. So every 24 hours it resets. And at this point right now, the price is below, so it's working as a resistance line. The EMA is an exponential moving average. I use that on smaller time frames because it responds quicker to the price action, and that's this red line here. And this red line is essentially telling us the momentum, right? So it's either bullish or bearish. When it breaks above and stays above, it's considered bullish. When it breaks below and stays below, it's considered bearish. So right now, we don't have any buy signals right now. So, we got the Ichimoku cloud telling us it's a no buy zone, right? That's why I drew this line here. Anything under this point right now, until it breaks above the cloud somewhere over here, is a no buy zone. So technically speaking, we don't have any good indicators right now of a buy signal because price is below EMA and VWAP, as well as the fact that it's in or under the cloud on the Ichimoku on the 1 hour chart. So just things to consider. Again, this doesn't necessarily mean that you can't buy Matic and it's not still a good value. I still think overall $1.50 is a very good value for Matic, but you also just need to understand that these signals are telling us something, whereas the price action could come down further. And I think it is responding to the fact that, Bitcoin is it's been consolidating a little bit more on the downside. So in other words, it may come down and test the 200-day moving average again. And if that is the case, we might see a lower price from Matic. But if you're kind of more of a long-term holder, I would say that, $1.50 is a good value. But if you're planning to do like a day trade or short-term swing trade, then I would expect for the price action to continue to go sideways and or regress. But it's hard to really say. I do like this pattern here where we see, kind of a higher low in that sense, and we do kind of have higher highs. So, I mean, I don't think it's terrible, but I do feel like we should wait based on all the indicators telling us that it's not a buy signal right now. Okay, so just take that in consideration. But again, if Bitcoin takes off, Matic will as well. But Matic does move very well and independently of Bitcoin, so we can get a little bit more sideways action from Bitcoin. I think Matic will easily hit $2 and then some. All right, so that is my thoughts and considerations. If you like this content, feel free to like and subscribe. Just note also that I'm going to be offering signal groups here in the very near future, within the next week or so before month end, to help my community out, to essentially allow for us to try to give you some good buy signals, good sell signals. These are things that I follow in my own market, and basically be sharing with you my trades, and that will be available through my premium Patreon account. A link in the description below. I also do live streams on the weekend if you'd like to learn more, where we can kind of interact and kind of all grow together here, do some live technical analysis. A lot of fun. It's good stuff. So feel free to join me there. I'll be more consistent with that moving forward. All right. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. We'll take care. We'll see you.